Where can you go to cool off outside? What makes the home coolest at night? Have you ever wondered what could happen if you drink too much water? What does marble have to do with staying cool? Find out on this episode. Welcome to Writing Rule with Allie. I'm Allie, and this is episode number 31, 5 Ways to Stay Cool Without Air Conditioning, Part 2. Stick around to the end to find out what could possibly go wrong. Now, on to the show. Many things can be done to stay cool in the heat without an air conditioner. Today, we are going to cover 5 more of them. Number 6, shade. Did you know that the air temperature in the shade is the same as the temperature in the sunlight? Yeah, I didn't know that either. But I did know that I feel much hotter in the sunlight than in the shade. This is because thermal radiation from the sun heats the body and anything else in it, just not the air apparently. Shade is a good place to stay cool because you will no longer be heated by the sun. If you're like me, it might even help stave off sunburns. Okay, fine, I'll likely still get sunburned, but a girl can hope. Number 7, knowing when to open and close windows. Windows do let light into the house, but that was not the only reason they were originally made. On top of the lighting a room, windows help regulate the home's temperature. During summertime, the windows can be opened in the evening to let the cool night air into the home. Anytime that we lived without air conditioners, we often place a fan in the window to draw the night air into the home and cool it down. If one side of the home has a fan coming in and the other has a fan aimed going out, this will make an airflow that will cool the house down. If this is done in the daytime, it makes a nice cross breeze to allow the character's body sweat to do its job and cool the body down. It also helps to get rid of heat from cooking if it is needed. Remember, if it is very hot, most people will try not to do things that make the home hotter. If you're writing before fans, there will only be a cross breeze as strong as the wind outside blowing into the window. Also, many people close the windows and curtains when the sun starts to come up to try to keep the inside of the home cool as long as they possibly can during the day. This can keep the home cooler for several hours, but it will eventually heat up again. There are a few issues with this. First, the home has no airflow to let the body sweat do its job if it is very hot. Second, many people leave them closed for too long and the home becomes hotter than it is outside. I've personally messed up on both of these. There are a few downsides to having windows open, but most people can live with them. Noises from outside can be heard far more easily. Also, the outside can likely hear what is happening inside if your characters are talking, singing, fighting, or being loud. Another thing is that if bug screens were not invented, bugs will get into the home. Remember, before glass windows, they had shutters. These could be made of many things, from flimsy cloth shutters to common wood shutters and even the marble shutters of Greece. Shutters also kept the rain out of the home and helped as a barrier to keep out wild animals when needed. It was also used as a ventilation for wood smoke when cooking, by opening it a crack to fully opening depending on the needs. Number 8, cool showers, baths. Another way to cool off is to take a cool or even cold shower or bath. This is a quick way to help the body cool down. This is because the body responds to skin temperature changes. This will help your character to feel cooler. Cool sponge baths can even help to cool your characters. Remember, showers and sponge baths are temporary cooling methods, and the body will warm again soon. A cool bath, however, can help stay cooler longer. The reason is that they are immersed in the water, and the cool temperature of the water is in direct, constant contact with the main arteries of the body. This helps to cool the blood before it is pumped to the heart. In turn, it helps to cool the body's core temperature. This is why cold water immersion is one of the things that is recommended as a first aid tool for heat exhaustion and heat strokes when there is no doctor or emergency help. Perhaps your character lives before the time of hospitals. They could live deep in the jungle, or there might not be medical help after a disaster or apocalypse. The apocalypse might be a disaster in more ways than one. Number 9, lowest level of the home, because heat travels up. The lowest level of the home is almost always the coolest level of the home. This is not every time, but it is the vast majority of the time. When I was younger, I was told it was because heat travels up. While I still repeat this saying, it is just a saying. You see, heat and cold travel in all directions. But when the main force on the heat or cold is gravity, that is when heat travels, as a figure of speech, up and the cool down. Granted, the whole thing is more complicated to explain, but that's it in a nutshell. I will leave links to learn more in the show notes on my my website. Number 10. Drink plenty of water to stay hydrated so that you can sweat and naturally cool off. Drinking plenty of water or other hydrating fluids is vital to the body. Your character will need to replenish the fluids that they have lost while they are sweating. Staying hydrated helps to regulate the body's core temperature. Adequate hydration also supports brain function. If your character's brain is not functioning correctly, they are in big trouble. If your character is working in the heat, they will need to drink between 8 ounces or 1 cup of water every 15 to 20 minutes. That means they should drink around 1 quart of water every hour that they work. If they work in a field or making bricks for 4 hours, this means they should drink 4 quarts of water, which is equal to 1 gallon of water. Never let your character drink more than 1.5 quarts of water per hour. This can cause a medical emergency called hyponatremia. This is when the sodium or salt levels in the blood become too low. Sodium controls the amount of water in and around the cells in your body. A lack of sodium can cause swelling of the cells and potentially be life-threatening. Signs and symptoms of hyponatremia are headache, muscle cramps, muscle spasms, muscle weakness, nausea and vomiting, confusion, restlessness, irritability, fatigue, low energy, drowsiness, seizures, loss of consciousness, coma, or even death. Though, let's hope that the other signs were spotted first and that they were able to get help. However, these signs and symptoms do not point to one thing, the same way that a visible broken arm in history or even a post-apocalyptic story, they might not know what is wrong with the character or how to help them. Also, these signs and symptoms cross over with many other issues and could be misidentified. Heat exhaustion and heat stroke have many of these symptoms, and since they are in heat also, they could easily be mistaken. Fun fact! The Greeks invented shutters in roughly 800 BC, and they were made of marble. Who'da thunk it? Now for everyone's favorite part, what could possibly go wrong? Well, let me tell you, likely to go wrong, your character has no shade to cool down in. Not only do they have problems staying cool, but they also sunburn. This makes everything feel hotter. Also likely to go wrong, your character did not drink enough water or other hydrating fluids to replenish what they lost when sweating in the heat, and they become dehydrated. Possible to go wrong, your character leaves the window open and someone eavesdrops in on the conversation inside the house. This could be a child, a nosy neighbor, or even a bad guy. Also possible to go wrong, your character opens the window to let the breeze in, but the wind is not blowing and there is no airflow through the home. Unlikely to go wrong, your character tries to sleep in the attic of a house on a hot summer night. Even if they have the windows open at night, it will still be hotter in the attic than it would be on the bottom floor of the home. Being too hot at night can make it challenging, if not impossible, to sleep. Also unlikely to go wrong, your character decides to take a cool shower, and right as they lather their hair up, there's a power outage. Without power, the water doesn't work. Improbable, but still technically in the realm of possibilities. Your character drinks an entire gallon of water in an hour. This causes the body to experience hypernatremia, and they soon die from the effects. Also improbable, but still technically in the realm of possibilities. Your character takes an ice bath, and the heat to cold shocks their system, causing them to pass out in the bath and drown. You can find this episode's show notes and helpful links to learn more on my website, AlleyHart.com. That's ALLEYHART.com. Thanks for listening. Subscribe or follow for more episodes. Connect on my YouTube videos by dropping me a comment. A new episode comes out every Monday. Until then, happy wordsmithing.